Now that we have set the stage for overcoming obstacles, today we'll dig into how to turn them into successes. Hi, I'm Curt. As with any other challenge that may come your way, the first step to overcoming your obstacle is to identify it. In other words, you need to know what the obstacle is and classify it. Identifying the obstacle will make you more aware of the positives, negatives, your own biases, whether you need to overcome it or not, and then what you need to do to overcome it. If you didn't identify your obstacle, it would be impossible to come up with action steps to follow through with the overcoming part. Though there are countless obstacles, many could be classified into larger groups, such as facing the unknown or limited finances. We're going to take a look at the most common classifications for obstacles. You may notice that the obstacle in front of you is a mixture of more than one category. That's entirely normal. So, what are these obstacle types? One of the most common general obstacle types is facing the unknown. You're familiar with this one. It happens when you find yourself in a situation that is unfamiliar territory. When you move, get a new job, or even simply talking to a new person, you could find yourself facing the unknown. This obstacle is often incredibly difficult for those with anxiety, introverted personalities, and low self-esteem. That's because it takes a lot of courage and confidence to overcome this obstacle and make the unfamiliar familiar. The best way to overcome this obstacle is to remind yourself that everyone has been in a similar situation before, and most people are not going to judge you. Additionally, work on building up your self-esteem to become more trusting of yourself and your ability to act in an unknown situation. Another obstacle you may face is pressure to be somebody you're not, someone other than yourself. This pressure can come from family, friends, or society. Some people struggle with this obstacle more than others. Women often especially face this obstacle, but men do as well. To overcome this obstacle, you need to know where to draw the line between yourself and others. What are your values? What do you think of yourself? What do you want out of life? Asking these sorts of questions will clarify where you end and other people begin. To better face this obstacle, you need to work on boundary setting. Once you draw the line and create a harsh boundary between yourself and others, you have to have the courage and willingness to follow through on that boundary line. You might need to work on your self-confidence and self-esteem in order to uphold those boundaries. Limited finances are an incredibly difficult obstacle, and who among us hasn't struggled with this from time to time? In these times we're in, you may be right in the middle of it. In many situations, limited finances are due to something outside of your control. Losing a job, welcoming a new member to the family, an unexpected accident, a major car repair bill, and so many other things that happen in our daily lives can all lead to having to overcome a financial obstacle. Now, unlike the last two obstacles, this financial one will require much more tangible and definitive action steps. This includes creating a budget, determining how much more money you need to make, and more. It may also require you to look for a new job, start a side hustle. If you need some tips there, check the links in the description. Or you may have to ask for a spouse or a relative to help financially, and that can create a whole new level of stress, right? Along with the obvious issues that come with limited finances, such as not being able to pay a bill, there will also be other obstacles that you have to face, such as strained relationships, facing the financial unknown, which is a whole separate level of facing the unknown. Relationships are one of the most common areas for obstacles to crop up. We're humans, and we're all entitled to our thoughts and actions, but don't you often feel like everyone should fall in line with your own thoughts? Yeah, me too. As a result, a lot of tension can be created, and it's more difficult to overcome these obstacles since it involves another fully autonomous person. Often an obstacle in a relationship is due to a very specific event or pattern. To identify the obstacle, you need to talk with the other person to determine their side of the story. Work with the other person to create action steps to eliminate the obstacle between you in the future. Sometimes the obstacle may be irreconcilable. For example, in your current relationship, the person you're dating may not want children, while you do. Often, the only strategy for overcoming this obstacle is separating and finding a new partner with the same goal and desire for children as you. Clearly, it's better to find that out in advance than discover it years later and face a divorce. That's why total honesty in your personal relationships is so very important. You can also have obstacles relating to problems with your friends, parents, or children, not just your romantic partner. Approach their resolution in the same manner. Discussion, honest communication, and sharing your feelings can be difficult to do, but always leads to the best outcome for all involved. Now, once you identify the obstacle, it is important to create those action steps that are directly related to the problem at hand. Action steps give you something tangible to do in order to begin overcoming the obstacle. Your action steps shouldn't be too lofty, but they should instead be more like mini goals. We'll talk more about this in the next video on goal setting. In addition to action steps, you may need to take a step back to reflect on yourself. Certain obstacles will take a large toll on your emotional and mental well-being. Reflect on yourself and pay attention to your emotions. Many people are tempted to put their emotions aside to overcome the obstacle quickly, but completely ignoring your emotions, what you're going through, is just as dangerous as getting swept away by them. Pay attention to your emotions. Don't discount them, and instead, use them as directions for learning. Depending on where you find yourself standing emotionally, you might want to consult a self-help book or see a therapist to work through the issues. More times than you think, the real obstacle lies between your ears and not actually in the real world. Take the time to reflect upon yourself, your goals, and your desires to come up with a firm understanding of where you stand. Again, the first step to overcoming the obstacle is to identify the exact problem. You can do this by breaking up the obstacle into categories, which will help the obstacle to seem more tangible in your mind. From there, create action steps and pay attention to your emotions in order to actively pursue a resolution to the obstacle. That's it for today. I'm hoping this series of videos on overcoming obstacles is helpful to you. I found that when most people attempt to start a business, especially an online business, the first thing they have to get right is having a mindset that makes it easier for them to overcome the obstacles they will inevitably face. It happened to me. My greatest fear was being on camera, but here I am with a YouTube channel doing it. That should tell you that you can do it too. If you enjoyed this video today and you found it helpful in your situation, I'm glad. Check out the links in the description about some of the ways you can get started putting these concepts into practice in your own online affiliate marketing business. There's even a link where you can directly connect with me live online if you need to chat. As always, please like, subscribe, and click on the bell icon to be notified when I post my next video. Fear not. Use forward motion, boldly go after your dreams, and I will see you in the next video.